electricity, invisible energy, taken for granted almost everywhere in the world. What happens when a power plant suddenly fails, when energy is in short supply? An accident damages a power plant in Mexico, a total power failure affecting millions of people in this region. Steel parts, packages, pipelines, everything is so severely damaged that we have to replace it all. More than 4 million people depend on electricity. Over 1 million people live in the city, and another 3 million live in the surrounding area. No one here can go without power. Now this power needs to be diverted temporarily from other power plants. This is expensive. This is why ENEXIO was entrusted to rebuild the power plant as fast as possible. While the damage caused by the accident is being cleaned up in Mexico, production of a new heat exchanger begins on the other side of the world, 13,000 kilometers away in Langfang, China. Here you will find one of the most modern manufacturing plants for air-cooled condensers. The effective manufacturing method also allows a large number of units to be produced in a short time. Langfang is located between Beijing and the East China Sea. Delivering goods all over the world is day-to-day business here. Normally, such a project is planned for months, and the units are transported by ship, which takes weeks, but time is short. So taking the sea route is impossible. Alternatives must be found. Together with the customer, ENEXIO decides to use an unusual method to transport the heat exchangers, the Boeing 747. 7 huge jumbo jets are chartered for this mammoth project, and they will carry an enormous load of just under 500 tons to Mexico. The clock is ticking. The biggest problem is actually time. When you consider that the customer is suffering enormous losses every day, then the cost of transport by air is practically negligible. In spite of the time pressure, unexpectedly large quantities need to be diverted from the Beijing airport to Shanghai airport. A line of Chinese trucks begins to move in Langfang. 1,300 kilometers lay before them until they reach Shanghai. Shanghai. Here is where all the threads for coordinating the transport come together. Flexibility is required. Getting start and landing authorizations quickly for more than half a dozen jumbo jets at this mega airport is a logistical masterpiece. Everyone is working under extreme pressure in order to overcome all hurdles. 3 days later, the first packages reach the freight complex at the Shanghai airport. They are expected to arrive in less than 48 hours in faraway Mexico. Time is running. Perfect teamwork is required. There have been no complications yet. The main reason for this is that all of the ENEXIO employees and suppliers involved around the globe worked wonderfully together for 24 hours, day and night. Suddenly, everything stops moving. Important customs documents need to be checked again by another authority. The weather is also getting worse, and with the darkness comes the threat of rain. Finally, the freight is approved. Everything needs to move quickly now. The window for starting the Boeing 747 is small. The freight needs to be loaded onto the loading ramps and secured using numerous special lashes. Three hours later, the first load is in the huge body of the imposing cargo plane, where there are usually 500 passengers distributed between the 2 stories together with their baggage. Bob Kemper is now ensuring the weight is distributed precisely. Safety is the highest priority. There is zero tolerance for risk. An unevenly distributed load would have fatal consequences. These 80 tons are not a normal load, even for the experienced crew. Done. Early in the morning, the first machine takes off on a course for Central America. Finally, after pouring rain in Shanghai at 12 hours of flight time, the first machine lands safely in Mexico. 6 more will soon follow. At a temperature of 43 degrees in the shade, the nose of the giant opens and releases its cargo. The extremely long design of the packages demands the utmost skill of the ground crew. 2 pallet trucks must act in perfect harmony in order to simultaneously lower the urgently needed heat exchangers from a height of 8 meters down to the level of the trucks. Ralf Reschke supervises operations to ensure the strict safety regulations are followed. Nothing is left to chance. The packages only need to be loaded one more time onto trucks before they can arrive safely at the construction site. On the road, the driver Javier Bucanero and his colleagues know the roads to the power plant like the backs of their hands. 20 kilometers of heavy city traffic, as well as 40 kilometers of dusty country roads lay ahead of them. Not a problem for the experienced drivers. They carefully accompany the heat exchangers during the last step of their journey around the world. The team reaches the power plant. Ralf Franzolet and the team are expecting the delivery. Everything comes on schedule, even after crossing several continents. The next step in construction starts, just in time. One highlight is how we actually work together here. We are Mexicans, we are Americans, we are Germans. And I don't even know how many other nationalities are represented here. And it works. It really all goes hand in hand.